Well, this weekend, the National Football Association will elect its president, NEC members, and the provincial office. The race for the top job between incumbent Danny Jordaan, Vice President Ledwaba, and SAFA Tshwane President Solly Mohlabeng has been public and heated. However, most of the discussion has been hinged around Jordaan and Ledwaba. The other candidate hoping to upset Jordaan, who's been in the role since 2013, is Mohlabeng. He joins me now in studio. Very good evening and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Good evening to listeners and good evening to all lovers of football.
Mr. Mohlabeng, you have not had a very long amount of time to campaign, but what is in your manifesto? What are you promising the over 300 delegates that are actually going to make the decision as to who leads SAFA on Saturday?
You see, the issue of time, and then which has been a concern that has been raised, that we have a very short period, which is 2 weeks, and it makes it impossible to visit 63 regions in that period. But what I can say is that I've drafted the 5 pillars that will definitely be able to make sure that football is brought back to where it's supposed to have been. So where clubs are very important, because clubs are the key. They're the ones that are playing the product. But the first thing that we need to do is to transform. That's the pillar number 1. We need to transform it. And in transforming it, we're looking at governance, looking at leadership, looking at club licensing, looking at the financial stability of SAFA. And then with the second pillar being development of skills. You see, we have got legends. And then we have got administrators that have made these legends. And then we've got referees, we've got coaches. We need to continue to develop their skills. And then once we have transformed and make the governance better, we develop them so that we can create jobs. Football by its nature and sports in general has got this potential that we have not realized yet. And then once we look at it and when we start to engage on it, it is going to make it better for our youth, better for our country, and better for our economy as well, because we have not realized that element as well. And then the third pillar, the fourth pillar, which is the social cohesion. Because once now you have got people that you have developed, and then you have got a governance system in place, then social cohesion, where different communities are visiting each other, we are dealing with all these social ills that are affecting our children, that are affecting our communities, because then we'll be closer to each other. And then once these things are done, it is easier for us to talk more of continental glory, more of internationally winning and all of that. And so that is going to be because we have dealt with things that affect how the things goes. And then that is why I said it's time for us to change so that we can get our football better.
You were only elected as the SAFA Tshwane president in 2019. I know that just recently you were elected for a second term. Can you give us a little bit of your background in the game?
Yes, from 2007, I've been, I was playing football before. Yeah. So, but in 2007, I decided, and then that is when there was a lack of referees in the LFA of West End. So I went in there and then I refed, and after refereeing, the problem was the administration. So I joined the administration part of the referees, and then in 2009, the region called me in to come into the region to assist the administration of the region. And then I rebuilt the structure, and in 2013, that is when I was now at the province, South and Gauteng. So there, when I was building the structure, and then I think even national referees, they started to get their training in Tshwane through my arrangement and through my development. And I remember one of the guys from FIFA came and said, no, man, why can't we have this guy doing the game for a season, then from then he get into administration, because he knows what he's doing. But I said, no, I'm looking at the administration part. I'm not going to get into to be a referee, but I want to get our administration properly, because governance is key for us. You must believe what you're doing, and you must have a document that makes you to know where you're going, moving from one point A to point B. So if you don't have a channel that makes you do that, you will just walk around the bush everywhere, and that it becomes dangerous, and that makes our football not to be what it is.
You got into administration out of necessity, out of a love for the game,
Yes.
and a love to want to fix it because of your passion for
Yes.
football. I understand that you had a hijacking outside of your house. Do you believe that that's at all related to running for the presidency of SAFA?
I think at the moment, all the information that needed with regard to this has not given me that picture.
Okay.
But, you know, around the different talks speaks in that light, but I don't have the information in front of me to indicate like that. So, but it was not a nice experience, I must tell. It was, you know, mostly when people hijack, they don't shoot. The guys shoot at almost 10 meters away from me, and they shot before they came to me. He had an opportunity to walk to me and greet me, and then maybe produce a firearm and say, we need your car or keys and all of that. But this one shot before. And then when I went down, then I knew they're coming my way. I had to run for my life. But I don't have information or data that indicate this way, but investigation is still going on.
Are you nervous considering the people that you're going up against? Considering Ria has superstar backing. We've seen the very public support that she's gotten from celebrities, not only in the football world, but many of them, former players, former administrators. Are you nervous at all?
Not at all. I can tell you I'm as confident as I could be. You know, if you know, even this afternoon when I was coming here, I had a number of regions phoning me and says, the fact that you stood and then made sure that our governance are in place and engage these things, it gives us a lot of confidence that you will definitely get it going right. And then, I mean, a lot of regions are now looking at what SAFA Tshwane is doing, and this is within a period of 3 years. I had to turn it around because it was not what football I wanted to look like. I can tell you, if you get to our website, you will see at a regional level, you have you are able to tell about the data of a player, how many minutes he played for last season and this season, how many goals he scored, how many yellow cards he scored, and this we're developing. And the referees, we are making sure that they are getting paid timelessly, monthly. And this is what makes me to even say, and I've said it previously, and I've been engaging with the SAFA as well to say, we need to pay our referees so that our football can grow. Because you see, our administration is the one that is going to make our football better. But if then it just says to clubs and fight each other, and it's not going to help us. But once we fix the administration and with the proper governance, it is easier. But please don't look clubs outside because they're the ones that are playing the product. Let's not just create a structure in the air, and then at the end of the day, clubs are at the background, and at the back is not going to help us.
Many people have spoken about transformation, a lot of the pillars that your manifesto rests on, but how are you actually going to get that working? What are you actually promising? What are you actually going to do?
I can tell you, when I came, even when I came into SAFA Tshwane, it was like you're asking me. So they said the same thing. I mean, we've been talking about this as much. So I can tell you, the first thing I did, I went and I looked for the guys, especially with the referees. I went back and said, hey, who are the former referees? I brought them up here, and I said, guys, it's time for us to work. And I went into the competition and I said, guys, come back, it's time for us to work. And then, believe you me, when we went to the election, the guys that were, most of the guys that were there were in the REC before, it's called the Regional Executive Committee. Yeah. So when they were talking, they were said, you came in, you made us see football different. But I said, no, I didn't make you look different. I made you to believe the documents that we have and drive in this way. Because if you don't have a document, you don't believe in it, you fight against it, you just manipulate people, it's not going to help you. Because the children and the clubs they love this. And they love it so much. And a lot of people love this sport because this sport has grown people. And so that is why I say it is, for me, I'm going to get a team that is definitely not, I'm not politically connected, but I am basically speaking in terms of what I'm going to do with football, because this has to be about the community, has to be about the nation, has to be about the players, has to be able to do with everybody that loves the sport.
Has to do with the nuts and bolts of actually running a sport, which are, if I have to think about what administration actually means, that's what it's about. It's about making the nuts and bolts work in sports. Solly Mohlabeng, thank you very much for your time here on Newzroom Afrika. He is one of the candidates for the SAFA elections.